Thanks for joining me for this happy feet practice. This is to help mobilize and begin to strengthen your feet, and will hopefully help your feet feel more open, more free, and more healthy overall. Of course, if you have any issues of new onset of pain or some kind of injury or some concern, see your doctor. But this is if you just have something kind of nagging, something a little bit more chronic, and you know it's just something minor that you can work with at home. So I'd invite you to be barefoot, and you can do these either seated in a chair or standing up. You'll want a little cloth and then a tennis ball or a myofascial release ball. These are yoga tune-up balls or myofascial release balls, and they're a little bit more grippy, kind of tacky feeling, and they're nice and squishy too. So tennis balls work as well. I'm going to start standing, or again, you can sit and place your foot down over the ball, or you can stand. I'm going to start with a smaller ball. It's a little bit smaller than a tennis ball. And if you need to, you can hold onto a wall or hold onto a countertop if you're standing and your balance is off. Gently press down into the ball and roll some little circles, finding maybe some tender spots. Maybe not. You can go underneath your heel, underneath the ball of your foot, even of your toes, if your toes feel kind of tight. Now, as you're doing this, be aware of your core being engaged and that your standing leg, you're staying stable there. So you wouldn't want the standing knee to be moving all over the place. Go ahead and switch your legs. Switch to the other foot. We'll do 2 sets on each foot. Now, if you are having a challenging time with maintaining your balance, standing on the one leg, hold on to something. You just don't want to strain that knee. Usually the knee is the weak link there. And just give yourself time to get stronger. As your feet get stronger, your ankles, your core, your hips, with the rest of your yoga practice, it'll be a lot easier for you to stand. As you do this nice release underneath your foot. So a lot of times this feels good. You never want to push into anything painful. In fact, if you find a spot that's painful, don't feel like you need to work over that area. You could just work around the surrounding areas and still bring a release. Over time, your foot will say thank you for all the love and attention you're giving it, and it'll heal. Our bodies are made to find ways to heal, and they're very resilient. You just have to search out and find what it needs. Go ahead and switch. Other foot. And usually I do this about 30 seconds to a minute. There's not really a right or wrong length of time. How much time do you have? And your body will kind of tell you, okay, I'm done. You just get bored with it, or it no longer feels like it's improving. As you should feel as you're doing this, like, oh, that feels good. And after a while, it may feel safe to kind of push down a little bit more into the ball. Sometimes you do feel little shifts, little pops in there. As long as you don't have any pain afterwards, that's fine. That can be very normal, very common. Switch to the other foot. Last set here. So mobilizing the plantar fascia here underneath the arch of your foot, maybe underneath the heel. So good. And my feet they haven't been bothering me, but I've definitely had times in my life where they did. I used to have plantar fasciitis. I had Achilles tendonitis for years. And in physical therapy, a lot of times we do a lot of stretches, and I found that stretching aggravated it greatly for me. And what I heard mostly from my patients was activities like this, and the next main exercise I'm going to show you were the most beneficial, that most people needed. So I'm just going to give you 2 main exercises, and then give you 1 bonus to just help with mobilization and stretching. All right, so just stand, maybe walk around a little bit, notice, hopefully your feet feel more open, you're more aware, more connected. That helps you feel grounded and solid with everything else you do when your feet are healthy and strong. So done with those. The next one, and this one again, you can do seated or standing. If balancing, you have to hold on for your knee not to be all over the place, then you may want to sit for this initially. So you're going to stand or sit with your foot over a towel. This is kind of like a kitchen towel length. And then start doing these toe scrunches. And on my non-stick yoga mat, of course, it's kind of challenging. So these are called toe scrunches in physical therapy, and they help to strengthen your plantar fascia. So surprisingly, when we have pain in an area, a lot of times we have weakness. Sometimes we're tight and weak. So getting something more open and flexible, and then bringing a little bit more contraction and expansion into the area really helps to heal. So starting with maybe 20 to 30 seconds of spreading out the toes, gripping and pulling where you're kind of shortening through the plantar fascia area. That's enough to start, and then building up to maybe 2 minutes of that. And you saw what your surface, your floor surface can make a difference. Don't stress about it if you don't get the towel to move. A lot of times people, when they start with an activity like this, their toes are really tight and they have difficulty moving the toes to even spread out and then curl. So give yourself time. Be graceful, be merciful in the way you talk to yourself so that you're not being too critical. If you've been wearing shoes most of your days, most of your life, it's likely your toes are pretty weak. Your feet are tight and weak. All right, so toe scrunches, that's my other top 2 of exercises for your feet. There are a lot more to advance to, but those are really beneficial. Now, stretching your calves is wonderful. There are so many ways to stretch your calves that can be just important and very needed. I'm not going to go over that, but that is something that you may want to do after you do this next one. So with plantar fasciitis and Achilles tendonitis and any kind of issues with your feet, it is very important that you have some flexibility in your calf muscle. So stretching is great, and you'll be able to find multiple stretching videos for that, and I do commonly teach that in my yoga sessions and classes, but I want to teach you something different. You do not have to have a yoga block, but I find it's easier. I'm going to place my ball, my little myofascial release ball here, and then rest my calf on the ball and simply do some ankle circles. Can point and flex, can also roll around. I find it's just a little bit more comfortable, easier for the rest of my body if I just let my weight of my leg be on the ball and just do some movement, because that's going to contract and relax and create some pressure down into that ball. So I just wanted to show you this. This is a great way to, again, free up, just like you did standing or seated with your foot on the ball for the plantar fascia. The soleus, the calf, all these strong muscles in the lower leg can get really, really tight. So you're in control of how much pressure you put down, how much weight you allow to go down. You can definitely work through the inner side if you go into like a side sit. I find these peroneal muscles get really tight, and sometimes it's beneficial to use a smaller ball to get into that tight little area. And this is where I may actually give sometimes like a little overpressure. And again, you can sit to the side if you need to. You can sit up on a blanket or something a little higher. I've actually done this standing with my leg up on a countertop and just kind of rolling around, encouraging that area to release, breathing a lot, and being okay with the sensations that you encounter. So after a while, you'll know your body's done. You'll just say, oh, it's not changing anymore. It's not feeling like amazing or super tender anymore. At first it may be kind of tender, and then after a while it should release a little. But even here, maybe find a little tight area and then linger there, and then do some ankle circles. So beneficial. So just like this, nice, easy movement, nothing very complicated, nothing too specific. So those are your two fabulous treasures for your feet for exercising and mobilizing, as well as one for your calf that I hope will also help your feet feel great. So I hope your feet feel happy, and use these tools on a regular basis, maybe a few times a week at least, if you are seeking healing for your feet. You can also watch some of my other videos that will help you strengthen your core and your hips to help you feel everything more connected, because everything's so intricately woven together. You can't just target one area and expect for you to have healing and everything working fabulously. You have to have a strong, healthy core and hips, great posture, everything works together. So thanks for joining me. Please reach out to me if you have any questions or any requests or concerns. May God bless you. Namaste.